Hello, my name is Mark Walsh and I'm with Clean Easy Distributor, and I've been involved in Clean Easy now for just over 5 years. And the purpose of this call, or this webinar, is to give you a training, if you like, on how best to use this particular site. This is a site which we take our prospects to once we've qualified them through the first stage. So let's just look at the first stage first of all, just give you some idea of the process. And the process at this point is such that a person has inquired, they've come through whatever lead generation resource that you've used, and typically they've come through and you've talked to them already briefly, perhaps about the opportunity, to really qualify them as to what they want. And that's really what it's about, the first call, to find out what they want and what their expectations are. Okay, now at this point here you're just really sort of filtering these people, so you can bring people through to this site, those people who may appear to be serious. And the objective of this particular site, or the second call, if you like, which should really take place within no later than 48 hours of the first call, is really just to tell them, or to help them through to understand how Clean Easy works, how the money is generated, and all of the other sort of spin-off things that we have to offer. Okay, so what I'm going to do is going to show you how I, in the second call, help the prospect along to understand exactly how the system works. Okay, so we've come to this site, we've brought the prospect here, and we've opened up the site for them. What I've generally done is sent them this link about 1 hour prior to actually making the call, and also send a text to remind them that the appointment call, as I call it, is being made. You can do all this through your autoresponder. It works very, very effectively. So what you can do is send them an email. You can also send yourself a reminder, of course, of the appointments, because the worst thing you want to do is to miss the appointment yourself. Okay, so it's a priority to get there. So they come to the first screen, and you'll see in front of you flexible income. And I mean, most people could get through this site straight away, so the links are good. There doesn't seem to be any problem with anybody getting through this site and viewing what you have in front of you. So I'll talk to the prospect now as if I'm talking to, say, John. John's inquired, he's looking for a bit extra money for whatever reason, which we've gone through on the first call. We brought him to this site to explain, and I usually tell them that we've got 30 minutes to work through this site. Okay, maybe it won't take that long for us. So we come to the home screen, and generally what I say to John is, John, have you got the screen in front of you? It's like a pinky colour. Yeah, they'll say yes, they'll confirm that. And then what I'll say is, what you're looking at is on the left-hand side, you'll see a video, a short video, which takes around 1 minute to play. Now, Chris has already recorded this video just to give people an introduction to the site and lay out exactly what we're going to do. One of the important points that Chris, so I really asked the prospect initially to listen to that before I do anything. I just shut up and say there's a minute or so, it won't take a minute, listen to that, and it just serves as an introduction. It also makes sure that everything's working, they actually get the video through okay. So it tells you that if there's any issues there, you can deal with them there and then. Now, Chris does his bit, he does 1 minute or so with this particular recording. And one of the things that I say at the end of the recording, when they finish listening to it, is that Chris made an important point within his introduction there, and the important point is what we're going to do here is just really help you to decide whether the Clean Easy is for you or not for you. And it's very important. So I want to take the pressure off you really, John. I just want you to listen to what we have explained things, ask questions as you want, okay, and I'll try and get through this whole thing as quickly as I can for you. Okay. Once we've listened to that video, then what I'll ask John to do is say, look, John, can you see the newspaper articles on the right-hand side there? There should be 6, and they'll probably say yes. And just click on one of them, and as you pass your cursor over one of them, you'll see them highlighted and become a little bit bigger. But if you open it, let's say Neil and Karen Young there, you open it, and it will create a bigger screen, it'll enlarge. Okay. Now we're not going to read the article now, but you can see there's a couple there with a mini in front of them, and they've won that mini. That's theirs to keep, and they did that for growing the Clean Easy business. And if you want to come back, John, and go through any of these articles at a later time in your own leisure, then you're more than welcome to. Okay. Your site now is there for you to browse once the call is finished. Okay. Now at this point then I'll say to John, can you just look at the tabs on the top? You'll see various tabs. I want you to click on the next one, which is extraordinary incomes. So we'll click on that. And when that one opens, I usually say to John, what you're looking at now is probably six screens, 5 of which are videos. Now, if you look on the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see a chat there, and if you just put in the browser, your mouse, if you like, over that video, you'll see my name, and that is me. So the guy you're talking to now on the phone, that's me. So you can look, you're not going to do the video now, we'll listen to the video now, but if in your own time you want to look at the video, you're more than welcome. Okay, it talks about 3 or 4 minutes, and it just explains a bit about me and why I got involved in Clean Easy and what Clean Easy has done for me and Debbie, my wife, okay, and the children. If you look above us, you'll see that John and Janice also are there, John and Janice, and you can see the picture of them there, but you can also see a little check there underneath their names. Now that check is £3,124. Now that is actually what John and Janice earned for 4 weeks in the Clean Easy business. Now at that point, John or Janice say, really? Well, that's right, yeah, and they're just an ordinary couple, live in Preston, and John's an engineer or an ex-engineer, and I think Janice was a receptionist, and they're earning that kind of money every single 4 weeks. So that's a good income coming every 4 weeks. If you go across to the other couple, Sue and Jeff Burris, Sue's a housewife and Jeff's a merchant navy electrical engineer, and I can't quite see the amount there, but it's around about £4,500 every 4 weeks. So you can see that that's a very good income, and it's all Clean Easy income. So that's what they've earned for being involved in Clean Easy. And if you scroll down below Sue and Jeff, you'll see Janet. And Janet, she earns around about £1,800 and £2,000 a month. And Janet's an ex-midwife. Okay, so she again tells her little story there, a couple of minutes. So really, I've just explained where the videos are, and I haven't played on it. And if I feel it's right and appropriate, I'll say, well, you see the little car there on the left-hand side, yeah. If you just click on that, you can listen to 5 minutes from Rob Forston, and Rob is quite exceptional in the business. And he's one of our team leaders, if you like, in the business, one of the top team earners, and he earns around £25,000 a month from Clean Easy. At that point, most people don't really believe it, so just watch the video. Okay, but generally come back to those if you wish and watch the video. Now, if you want to, John, if you want to go on to the next screen, which is Building for Success, okay, just click on that one, and it just opens up. Now you'll see the screen where you've got a couple of videos below. It's called the proven system is this slide, but if you look at the actual you'll see month 1 and month 2. There's a video attachment to each of those. So what we've done here, we've created a video reference for every single thing that we're going to talk about. Okay, so you can come back later on and go through every single step or stage and get the information again. Maybe you want to show your partner something like that. Okay, but basically what we've done here, we've got a system, and this system has been developed over a number of years, and it works. So what we're trying to do is just give you sort of an insight into what we have to offer as a system, which is a proven system, which just if you follow it makes money. Now at this point, I asked John to click on number 1, month 1, and this video lasts around a couple of minutes, again narrated by Chris, and Chris does a good job, and he'll explain for 2 minutes a little bit about the first slide. Okay, but we're not going to play it right now, but that's what I asked him to do. And at the end of that, I'll say, that's fantastic. What do you think of that? And it just gives you an idea of what people would want to, where they want to be in 5 years' time, but also what the first stage, if you like, month 1 in Clean Easy is all about. Okay, so if you're not too confident, really, I guess I'm pretty confident about when I'm showing people this and how I know of the business now. But if you're not too confident, or you're just starting out this sort of thing, it's great to have these videos that you can sort of let them do the work for you, and that's really a part of what we've done with this site, and made it in such a way that it helps you if you're not that confident at showing people how this system all works. Okay. So when they finish that month 1 video, I just say, well, everything's working there. We're not going to watch any more videos tonight on this call, but what I'll do is I'll take you to, if you can see the top tabs again, and I'm going to explain it pretty much as I'm here. So if you want to go to the guided booklet tab, that's right at the end. Okay, and you click on that one, and you should see a screen now with a guy in a bottle on the left hand side, and that's really just to show people people are trapped in a bottle, I guess. They're being held in there by a big bad boss, and that's quite quite a poignant sort of slide in today's world. People are trapped in bottles. But on the right hand side you'll see a similar screen to what you video you just watched a couple of seconds ago. So this screen is just, we're not going to repeat through it, but it's a poignant question: where will you be in 5 years' time, and where have you been for the last 5 years, I guess. So we're gonna now, this booklet opens. It's a booklet version of all the videos, and I'm going to just talk through each stage of this booklet. So to click to the next page on the booklet, you can just hit pink arrow in the top corner there, or anywhere along the right hand side of that picture. If you just double click, and the page just cleverly peels open for you. Okay. Now this is a slide that Chris has just gone through with you, and we want to just show you again how this works. And if you have any questions, I'll just ask them at the end. Okay, because it doesn't take 2 seconds to go through this. Now your slide here says retail profit. It's titled retail profit. Okay. Now month one it's just, it could say the start. Okay, so it's just really starting off. Okay. And this is, if you look at the circle, it's got you written in the top of the circle. Now you is, it's just the name of anybody, so it's you, John. That's put your name in there, that's you. And if you look below in the bottom half of the circles, it shows that £600 worth of orders. Now that's what you've generated in the first 4 weeks of your involvement with Clean Easy. So in 4 weeks you've managed to accrue £600 worth of orders. Now that equates to £150 a week, because Clean Easy works in a 4-week cycle, and that would mean that it's roughly around 15 orders for £10 a piece. Most orders are around £10 or £12 on average with Clean Easy. So you've actually managed to make £600 over the 4 weeks. Okay. Now for that, if you look above that in the right hand side, you'll see that you have created an income based upon that £600, a direct profit of £125. Okay, that's 21% commission on the £600. Okay, and that's the commission that you earn when you deliver the goods to your customers. So they pay you money, and that money, from that money, you can directly take 21%, which is roughly £125 in this case. Okay. Now, it does take around 4 to 6 hours of work each week, but right away you can start earning money, and it is all you. Now, if this is all you ever wanted to do, Clean Easy would offer you that as a profit. You don't need to do anything else. So if you look at that screen and that's all you want to do is distribute catalogues and bring them back in, or get involved in party plan or whatever else we do to create product sales in Clean Easy, you will make a profit based upon that. It all comes down to the same thing. Okay, if you want more, of course, John, then all you need to do is generate more orders. So if you generate more orders, so it's £1,000 a month or £2,000 a month, then that income will rise. And of course, if you do less than £600 a month, the income will fall. Okay. At this point, I generally ask John, I say to John, well, have you any questions on that? Have you any questions you want to ask? Now, keeping it simple, most people will be able to accept that information. Okay, they'll not actually want, and when you pause at the end of each slide, because I do, and give the prospect opportunity to talk, because it doesn't want to be you talking all the time. Okay, so maybe have a conversation. How's it based? If you start to say, well, how's that £125 work, and what happens is to say, well, we'll come to that towards the end of the presentation. Okay, so I really sort of fend off any questions as I'm going along. So I'll tell you what, and people do ask questions like, what does it cost to get involved, and what is this, and what is this, a startup fees? I say, well, look, I said, just wait till the end of the presentation, and all your questions will more or less be answered. Okay. Okay, so I find people do accept that sort of, most people anyway, accept that sort of a fend off, if you want to call it that. Now, if you just go to peel to the next page, so you go to the right hand side. Now, you don't have to do this, what I'm going to show you, but there is a certain advantage to doing this, and it's all part of our presentation anyway, so I'll run through it with you so you fully understand the whole opportunity which Clean Easy has to offer you. Now you have a screen here, which 2 pages again, and you can see the volume profit is the title of this one, and it says month 2. Now month 2, it could be any length of time. It's just purely for the point of illustration. So volume profit is the title. Now I'm going to show you a way here where you can do no more work, but actually increase your income. Now I want you to think about that for a second. No more work, but increase your income. Okay, so this is how it works. Now you see you're there in the middle in the biggest circle in the centre, and you're there again, John, and you've just done is repeated what you did on the previous slide. You did £600 of orders being not sales, post the catalogue through, and then people return orders to you, and you just process orders. You don't do any direct selling whatsoever. Okay, but in the course of time, it can take, as I said, months, or it can take days. A friend of yours sees what you were doing, and they're interested in themselves some extra money every month or so, and saving up for whatever, and you introduce them to Clean Easy, and they join. So they join, and just for the purpose of illustration here, we show them together how to work the business, how to get started, and your friend goes out and manages to get or generate £600 of orders, and for that friend will get £125 of profit, the same as you. So there's no difference. There's a basic pay that everybody gets, which is only fair. Okay. Now the important thing to remember here as well is your friend is doing all their own distribution, they're doing all their own delivering the orders, and they're doing all their own ordering, they're managing their own account, they're doing everything themselves. So you're not involved in any of that. All your involvement is to help them, is to ensure that they're okay and they understand things, because they're going to have questions, people, and all you're there for is to support them. Okay, and you might have placed a shop ad somewhere in a shop, and as you were travelling around, and it just, again, for the purpose of illustration, somebody from Newcastle is passing through as a rep or something and saved up to get married, and they, through that shop ad, they answer your inquiry, they inquire, and then we also show them how to do this business, and we help them to do this business, and they also make £600 of orders, and exactly the same, they're doing all their own business, and they make the £125 profit as well. So everybody in there is making the same basic rate. Now here's the thing, Clean Easy recognise that extra business there with your friend and the person from the shop ad wouldn't be there but for you. Okay, you've actually helped those people, introduced those people and helped them, and there's lots and lots of people at the moment who are looking just to make a few £100 a month extra, because it's important. I mean, 125 is not a lot, but it might pay somebody's rates bill or car tax or whatever, but that's important to some people. Okay, so you are the link between this extra business which is there and your team. Okay, and Clean Easy recognise that, the link's in the red bit in the middle. Okay, and you'll always be the link, okay, as long as everybody stays put in the business. Now that link creates a turnover in your team, and it says team turnover there, of £1,800. That's the £600 multiples, creates £1,800, and for that Clean Easy will pay you a volume bonus. You can see it just under your income, a volume bonus of £150. That creates a monthly income profit to you of £275, John. So when you think about that, you've actually earned more for what you didn't do there, for helping in bonus terms, than what you did directly earn in your catalogues. Okay, so now you're only doing a third of the work, but you're creating more income. Okay, have you any questions on that, John? And generally you might ask a question, and generally most people accept it again because you've covered everything. Okay, so the next slide, I'm going to take it a stage further, John, and some people even preempt you here and say, look, if I can do it twice, I can have a number of people. So you've got to be careful here, because you don't want to have too many, because if you have too many you're trying to manage, it becomes unmanageable. So there's a structure here as well we're going to explain. So if you just click to the next page, and just curl the page over again, I think it's really clever that, and you've got the second screen here of royalty income. A royalty income here is, and we've put here month X. Now this is any time, any length of time. I mean, you may never be interested in doing this, but it just shows you that this can be done in, that's actually been done in 11 days. Somebody did this in 11 days, and Rob Forster, who you may have looked through the previous screen, he did this in about 6 weeks. Okay, so it can be done, but it doesn't matter, it can be done in 3 years, 5 years, whatever. But really your friend's there at the top left hand corner again, and below your friend is the person with the shop ad. Now what we've done now, we've moved on a bit, and you've settled your business down, you've got yourself a little customer base going, which we're going to explain in a second or two, and you've got yourself £1,000 worth of orders. Again, we're just trying to keep the math simple so it makes it easy to understand. So you're generating £1,000 worth of orders. £1,000 is just £250 a week. It's 25 people ordering £10 of products from you. And again, you just post the catalogs really. And for the purpose of illustration, we can see everybody in those circles. There's actually 10 of them. And again, it's just 10 because it makes the maths easy, and we don't want too many on the page, it gets too complex. And 10 of them, everybody's doing £1,000. Okay, and it will never, ever, ever work out like that. Some people do more and some people do less, but that's just for the maths, just to work out the maths. Now you'll see a guy down there who's in a circle with labelled badgers. Now he's actually doing £400, but he's got a couple of people that he's built into his team, and they're doing £300 each. Now all of that team, that, if you like, sub-team to you, is still doing £1,000 of turnover into your business. Okay. Now your business now, with the £10,000 that's being generated outside of you and your £1,000, adds up to £11,000. Now £11,000 is quite a big turnover, and people think, oh, I'll never do 1,000. But a lot of people within Clean Easy have turnovers of 11,000 and a lot more. Now for that, and it gives about 15 hours work a week, perhaps, you will earn £1,260. That's just based upon this model, but £1,260, and that can be part-time. This brings you where we are at the moment in the business, John. That's what we're doing, okay? £1,260, £1,300 a month income from Clean Easy, profit, okay? But the important factor here is you're only doing 1,000 and helping these people, because you can't make this business work unless you help people, okay? Now from that, you only do, as it says on the right hand screen, you're doing 1/11 of the work, but you're earning £1,260, and that's pretty good, I believe. Okay, what do you think of that, John? Okay, so most people, some people just don't grasp it. I mean, I must admit, when I first saw this and it was drawn out on a piece of paper, I didn't quite fully get it. So you've got to understand that some people don't, just because you're maybe communicating in a great way, don't fully understand it. But they can always come back to it through the Chris's videos, and it can be re-explained to them. They can watch them as many times as they want to try until it sinks in. Okay. So if you just go to the next page, John, click it over, and now you'll see royalty income. It's like a second slide of royalty income. Now the major, this is what got me, and the major second slide here shows you something which is quite unique. If you look at you now in the middle, you for whatever reason have not been able to do your £1,000 of turnover, okay? And because they haven't been able to do your £1,000 of turnover, your team still generated what they've done, but you've got now a £10,000 team turnover. Now Clean Easy recognise that you still have put all this work in that you've done before to build this thing up and to level it's at, and they will pay you a bonus of £900 into your bank account every 4 weeks based upon that. Okay, so you actually do. You might be that you're on holiday, or you've gone to visit a sick relative, or whatever that reason is, but you will have got a £900 payment, and effectively you haven't done any catalogues or anything at all. Now that's quite unique, I think, and only people like J.K. Rowling or some big pop star or whatever will get royalty income, but you've just generated it through what you've done. Okay, what do you think about that, John? Okay, the next page. Now we start to look at the strategies of how to get started. Okay, so this is how we started in particular. This is what we did as a couple when we started Clean Easy. And this plan is like gives you an idea of how to get started. It's very important when you start any business you have a plan. Now this plan is what we call the blanket drop-in plan, and we call it the 2x200. Now this plan is not set in stone. You can change the days, you can change the amounts of catalogues, you can go out every day with catalogues. It doesn't really matter as long as you're getting the basic 400 out a week. Okay, and you see the days of the week there. So what we've done now is we've distributed 200 catalogues on the Monday, and we've collected them back in on the Wednesday. So that takes around 4 hours complete. You might have to go back and get a few catalogues in the evening, but that generally is what it'll take. And then all you do is redistribute those on Thursday and collect them in on Saturday. Okay, we've put a little day in there for delivering your orders as well. Okay, now that means that you will have distributed 400 catalogues in 1 week, and the 400 catalogues, because Clean Easy works in a four week cycle, you will have actually distributed 1,600 catalogues over the 4 weeks. And if you look through the figures at the bottom, I'm not going to overbear you with figures, but if you distribute 400 catalogues in a week, Generally, the national average is around £1 a catalogue. You will get fluctuations. You might put your catalogues out one time, 200 and odd catalogues, and you might get £100 back in orders. And then other times you can go out and put 200 catalogues out and get £300 back in orders. So nothing should be looked at in isolation as far as an individual event, but over the period of time, you will find it roughly work out about £1 a catalogue. So if you do that consistently, you'll have got £1,600 of catalogues out, 600 catalogues out, so they generated around £1,600 of orders. Now I know that works because when we started cleanings, we put about 600 catalogues out in the first 4 weeks, and we got £1,598 of orders. So it was as close as it could be, by a couple of pounds. Okay. Now the important figure to think on is you've generated a profit of £470 based upon that plan. So if you've done your 4 weeks work as the plan, you will have got a profit at the end of it of £470, which we did part-time, and it says part-time there, and I reckon it would probably be about 15 hours a week, 10, 12, 15 hours a week. If you work as slow as me, it might be a bit more. Okay, but that is a blanket offering plan. The next page shows you an alternative. Now the alternative is presenting. Now you've got to have a bit of confidence with this, but what it does do for you, it identifies your customers straight away, because those people that want the catalogue will tell you, and those people that don't won't. Now it involves actually knocking on the door and going through a particular process. Now we teach you this process, you don't just leave it to your own devices. This process is taught via a video you get when you start a pack. And you're able to watch the video, and of course you get the support from us as well to show you how to do this. Now in this particular instance, you haven't put 200 catalogues out, you've put 50 out, say on a Monday, and you've collected them in on a Wednesday. Okay, and I repeated that again on a Friday to Sunday, and we've put a little day in there for delivering orders as well. Now on this particular strategy, although you're not distributing as many catalogues, as I say, we are identifying your customers a bit quicker, but you've actually now got a better return per catalogue, because people like it when you knock on the door, and that's £3.50 or £3.50 per catalogue return. Now we'll just do the calculation at the bottom based upon that. Is that 100 catalogues out a week based on a £3.50 average, and again it might fluctuate, but it'll work out an average at £3.50. You'll have £350 of orders every week. From that, over 4 weeks, you generated £1,400 of orders, and that will give you a working profit of £383 part-time. Okay, there was a lady in the team who did nearly £3,000 in her first 4 weeks using that method, Sandy, and she made herself over £1,000 profit. Okay, so that plan works. Both these plans, this and the blanket dropping, of this, are good plans to work. Okay. So if we just go to the next page, and I'm talking straight through this, of course, but a lot of people ask questions, and those questions should be answered. Okay, so you shouldn't leave them hanging, just answer the questions. If it's something about the money, of course, as I said, just go to the end page and we'll explain that at the end when we've gone through it all. But, try and answer the questions best you can. Keep it brief in your answer, but you should be answered at the time. Give them an opportunity to answer questions and get them involved in the presentation. Okay. Now, rapid start bonuses. This is what we're looking at this page, John, and we see 4 phases of rapid start bonus. Let me explain what these are. On the previous 2 plans, you will lose catalogues for whatever reason. Sometimes people don't give them you back. People throw them in the bin, unfortunately, or they might get weather damaged. For whatever reason, you will lose catalogues. So what cleaners have done rather cleverly is they've actually brought this bonus scheme in. And the bonus scheme, let's just look at phase 1. This is the first 4 weeks of your involvement with Cleaneasy. They will send you 25 replacement catalogues for everyone, about £180 of orders that you process through them. And they will offset any losses that you experience. So you can actually have up to 125 catalogues during phase 1. Okay. Now that's repeated in phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4, which covers the 2nd, 3rd and 4th 4 week of your business in Cleaneasy. It's just the amounts that rise, but they rise because you've probably generated more of the profit from more customers. Okay, what you've got there is access to 500 replacement catalogues to replace the catalogues that are being lost. And as I said, Cleaneasy will send them probably with your order once you've processed that particular amount. Okay, so there's plenty of free catalogues to make sure that you're not having to invest in any more. Okay, so we'll go to the next page, and this shows you what you're working toward. This is a customer base, and this is not far actually what we do as a plan. You know, me and Debbie, we do this sort of plan. We just put the catalogues out on a Friday and pick them up on a Monday, deliver us orders sometimes Friday night and Saturday morning, and it's done. And this is pretty close to what we do. So, and I guess the amounts are pretty close to what we do as well. So what you've done, you've actually, through a sorting process, either by blanket dropping or presenting, you'll end up with a customer base. These are people who are focused customers, if you know what I mean. That what they are is people you can deliver the catalogues to. You know you're going to get the catalogue back, so your losses go right down. And you also, because you're focusing on them, you get the same return because these people repeat buy. A lot of the products that we actually trade with are consumable, which means that they run out. So the repeat businesses, and once you forge a relationship with customers, they repeat buy from you anyway. So there you've got the 100 catalogs going out and back in again. But the important thing from this is, if you look right at the bottom, you've got the same income you had from blanket dropping. Okay, £470 of income, £400 or £500 a month from just servicing a customer base. It takes a few months to get to this level, but once you're at that level, that's the sort of returns you can expect. Okay, and a lot of people have got even better than that. So I think that's finished that particular part of the presentation. If you just go to back to the tabs at the top, John, you'll see help and support right in the middle, help and support, and just click on that one. And we've got if you just click on the screen as I have done, then you'll see 100% support and training. The video there to support you as well. If you want to go back through that, everything's videoed, and Chris has done a good job explaining everything. But here we've really got two lots of support here. When people start off, you can appreciate they don't know what they're doing, and they're a little bit apprehensive, and and want to make sure they succeed. So this help and support plan has been put together to enable that. And we have an online help and communication training. What we have also is an induction program, and this is really covered in the first month, your first month in involvement with Clean Easy. For example, once you've registered, then what I will do is send you some materials, and I'll give you a call, and we'll do an induction call before your kit arrives. Okay. And you can see there you've also got email training systems which we deliver a lot of. We have a weekly webinar which is absolutely fantastic. That webinar is for new distributors only. It can go on and it runs constantly. I think it runs every night now nearly. So that webinar actually will deliver you a good training, a good help. So it's really take advantage of all these sort of things because they will help you as you go along. We also have group Skype calls. A lot of people are on Skype now. Are you on Skype, John? Okay, because we can do individual calls and we can do group calls on that. And we also have local meetings every 4 weeks. Now these meetings are very good for a couple of reasons. One is to get to meet the team, keeps everything gelled together, but it also gives you the opportunity to learn more about the business, okay, because we do some training there as well. So that's when people start off. As people if they're interested and they want to build a big business, or they want to get more income from the business, we have a training scheme or Step to Success for business builders. And this is delivered by monthly online workshops, monthly training seminars, CDs, and also we have national company conference. So we've pretty much covered everything in the training. We make sure that everybody gets a great support and training. We pride ourselves on that. So we'll just click that down so it stays where it is. Now, there's a video there to support everything I've just said. And again, you can ask any questions on it there you want to ask, John. And now here we come to the part how to get started. So I want you to just click on the how to get started button, and this is really the last screen we look at really for John. Now I'll just say this as I would say it to John. Okay, again there's a video there from Chris getting started, but here we go. This is what I say, and you haven't got to be afraid in this screen because you've got to go straight for it. Now this is what I say. Okay, now John, you've got 3 options here to start. Option 1, 2 and 3. Now I want to explain each option, the benefits of each option, how they align themselves to the plans I've already shown you. Now option 1 is recommended for the blanket drop-in slide. So option 1 is basically 400 catalogues a week going out, as we mentioned before, in the blanket drop-in. And this kit, to enable this, is called the Business Builder 250. Now for £185 investment directly to Clean Easy, nobody makes any money out of this, it's illegal to do so. For £185 investment, Clean Easy give you a personalised website, which is your own online shop. You've also got your own ordering site and everything else you need there from Clean Easy itself, so you can control your business through that. You've got various tools to send you in the starter kit, such as business manuals, presenters and stationery and whatever else you need. And you've also got training DVDs and 275 catalogues to start with. So that gives you the opportunity to be able to work your plan, work the blanket dropping plan. Okay, so that's that. I think it's great kit to start with. In fact, it's the premier kit, I would say. Okay, so you can get out in the blanket dropping plan with that one. Option 2 is more lined to the presenting. Now we talked about presenting earlier, and the presenting plan was where you actually knock on the door and show them the catalogue and everything else. And this costs £85. It's got everything in it which you saw in option 1. The only difference is you've only got 55 catalogues to work with, and these are ones that have to present, and as it says there at the bottom, it's important. This is not for blanket dropping, this is for presenting. Now if you're not too confident at presenting, then option 1 is the one for you if you really want to make this business work. And these two are the serious packages for Clean Easy when people start off. Option 1 I think is the best. Option 2 is for those who perhaps want to pay £85. But both ones we give you all the support that we can on those two options. Option 3, that's a break-free option. So it's actually you have the ability to join Clean Easy using a break-free package in free, no cost at all. But all you do get is 5 catalogues. Now 5 catalogues, as we've seen from the 2 plans that I've shown you, which we know work, you can't work them plans with 5 catalogues. So you have to be aware of that at the start. And I think it takes a little bit longer to start making some money with the break free. Okay, it's possible and people have done well with it, but I would say it's more of a challenge to do so with the break free. But if you're intent on starting with that and starting for free, then that's fine. We can get you started for free, we can get you going. It'll just mean that you'll need to have a bit of commitment over the first few weeks, and the best thing you can do with us is to give us 20 names of people. Now what we'll do with those 20 names that you know, of course, 20 names of people that you know that are close to you, family members or friends or work colleagues, what we will do, we'll drop them a quick email. If you can send us their email address, we'll drop them a quick email, and what we'll do is we'll tell them that you're going to be giving them a catalogue in the next couple of weeks, next week or two, and if you will support you in your venture. And that's all we can do with that. Now you've got to get £150 in your first 3 weeks and process those orders, and if you do that, Clean Easy will give you an extra 30 catalogues for free. Okay, so those are the 3 options, John. And I say quite honestly, which one, where are you at now? What do you think of that? Have you any questions? So we might come back and someone will know and say, well, I'm not so sure about this, that, and the other. I need time to think about it, which is fine. If they say, well, I sometimes say, well, which option would you go for if you really want to? And some people really want to do this business. Which option would you go for? And they'll say option 1 or 2 or whatever, and you say, oh, that's fine. Okay, and I might ask them if on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not interested at all and 10 being I can't wait to get started, where are you at on the scale? And they'll say, well, I might be 7. Most people say 7 because that's the number most people say. And so, what is it? What do I have to do? What do you not want to answer or whatever, or questions you want me to answer, which will take you to a 10. Okay, so get you started. Okay, so that's really it. That's all I say to people, and I leave the decision with them. What's important, I think, is to collect a decision. And if they do want to go away and think about it, what I do is I arrange a time with them to give them a call back, maybe in a couple of days max, and get a decision, because you need a decision. You need to know where you're at, because you can't keep chasing people. And that's how I use this site to explain the business to new distributors. Hope you enjoyed that and find it of value.